Hello and welcome to Zuitt Bootcamp Guide episode 4. My name is Tristan and today I'm joined with Miss Hillary. For today's topic, we'll be talking about the power of versatility, why Filipino web developers are in high demand.
Ayan. So thank you for that introduction, Tristan. So let's start off, of course, by introducing ourselves. So hello everyone, I'm Hillary, and I've been in the IT industry for almost 2 years, almost 3 years na pala. Oh my god, tagal na, almost 3 years. And I started when I was still studying. So Zuit is my very first official web developer job, instructor job. Ayan. And I've been an instructor in Zuit for less than a year pa lang naman. How about you, Sir Tristan?
Well, like Miss Hillary, Zuitt is my first IT job. I'm a fresh graduate, but I did major in computer science in my time. And same, I've been with Zuitt for less than a year. Been an instructor for less than a year.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about web developers in the Philippines?
Well, for web developers in the Philippines, I definitely do think there is a rising demand for it, right? From my colleagues, I can definitely hear them, from the hearsay, and everyone's talking about how a lot of these companies are going to the Philippines and getting Filipino web developers or web developers here. So, and I also feel like a lot of people are going to the IT field now. A lot of people are shifting to the IT field now because they do see the demand for it, right? How a lot of people want to get developers here.
Yes, actually, this trend has been here for a long time na, right? Like, nung mga, ano pa lang, yung mga times na sikat or in demand yung mga overseas workers, most of the international most of the countries talaga, they prefer Filipino workers, and that reflected as well with the technology field or technology industry, right? With the growth of the digital economy here in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
there's a growth in the web developer roles as well. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
if you would notice, actually, I have LinkedIn installed in my phone, and lagi siyang nagdo-notif sa akin. Parang everyday merong notif ng new job posting
Mm-hmm.
about IT or anything related to IT. So from that pa lang, isipin mo, isa yung nabibigay sa akin, pero ilang postings ba talaga yung meron about the IT industry in the Philippines?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So so we're talking about Filipino web developers. How about what are some skills you think that these Filipino web developers or specific skills that they can show for?
I think the very first one is through communication. Because if
Mm-hmm.
from way back pa, Filipinos are very, very friendly. We have the new tagline, right? Love the Philippines. It's because you don't just love the country itself, you love the people that are living in that country, because Filipinos are very friendly. Kahit nga, nagugulat ako minsan, naglalakad lang ako sa streets, tas may biglang mag-hi sa akin, mag-hello, na I've known that person somewhere from the future. Kasi ganun ka-friendly yung mga Filipino eh. Parang kahit sinong makita mo, ate or kuya kagad yung tawag mo. So, nagre-reflect din siya dun sa mga work ethics ng Filipino, right? And especially with the culture, compatibility. Kasi most of the Filipinos are really willing to experience different cultures as well. And that reflects with their work ethic na kapag meron silang nalaman ng isang bagay na, for example, culture ng US na ganito yung time shift or ganito yung klase ng role na kailangan mong i-provide or ibigay, and they're willing to adjust to that. So
Definitely.
we always have cultural compatibility and excellent communication, not just with Filipino employers but also international employers.
Definitely. Yes, I do feel well, being a Filipino worker, we do try our best to just be friendly, right? Just to
Yeah.
be communicative. And going on to that, I feel like one of the skills as well for Filipinos is their flexibility, right?
Yes.
I think you already touched upon it before on how with overseas employers, with Filipinos, they're right on that, right? No matter what schedule you give them or what kind of workload. I just noticed that web developers, Filipino web developers, or Filipino workers in general, just tend to be more fluid, right? They be more
Yeah.
fluid with their actions and their workflow, and they really do adapt to a lot of different working environments.
Yes. And speaking of the working environments, I just want to add to that how Filipinos are very skilled, not just in their environment, but with the knowledge itself. Kasi from our previous podcast with Miss Tin and Sir Tolitz, they've talked about different programming languages. And there's like if yung mga popular lang nasa 10 na yun. So biruin mo 10 languages na iba-iba yung kailangan mong aralin. And most of the Filipinos acquire 2 to 3 skills from that, or 2 to 3 languages na alam nila.
Mhm.
From our bootcamp pa lang, right? We learn already one programming language, and then from short courses, madami ka pa matututunan na
Mhm.
iba't ibang programming language. So from there, nakikita nila yung mga Filipinos, ay, super skilled pala to mga Filipinos na to, kasi they don't just know one. They always know 2 or 3, or maybe even all of it, right? With
Mhm.
the proper maybe if with the enough experience, they could be familiar with all of the different languages that we have in the technology industry.
Definitely. And since we're talking about versatility and all of the
Yes.
things how Filipino are versatile and have a lot of skills. How about a question for you, Miss Hillary? How do you define versatility?
Actually, that's a very good question, Sir Tristan. Kasi nung nakita ko yung topic ng podcast natin, the very first thing that comes up to my mind is, what is versatility? Like,
Mm-hmm.
ano siya in a textbook definition. And versatility is the ability to change or to adapt to the environment, not just environment, but to anything that you have been dealt with. And in the context of actually web development, or let's be more specific, in web developers, um, we could see that in their learnings. Ayan. So, ikaw, sir, ano pa ba yung sa tingin mong skills and technologies ng mga Filipinos that makes us versatile?
Well, I think we already touched upon this one before, but just the communicative aspect or the camaraderie. I mean, sorry,
Yeah.
um, definitely plays a lot into that. The reason why, or I feel like the reason why Filipinos are so versatile is because a lot of the time, or most of the time, they are raised in an environment that preaches camaraderie, right? That
Yeah.
preaches to be more mindful and don't be afraid to get help with your superiors or with your co-workers, because if you have the resource for it, be sure to take it, because if not, you'd only slow yourself down, your progress, and you'd slow a lot of the workflow. But if you get a coworker and if you get good at getting help, the speed of your work and your tasks done just like that.
Yes, that's true. And we really experience that here in Zuitt. Like,
Definitely.
it's not just sugarcoating or making the company look good. We really feel that camaraderie. And students can feel that too. Students can also feel that camaraderie because they could see how instructors are um lifting each other up, or when it comes, syempre may mga classes na sometimes instructors cannot make it to that class, but they see how each one of those instructors are highly skilled to teach them. And from there, nakikita nila na, ay, ang galing ni Sir ganito, pero ang galing din ni Miss ganyan. That's because here in Zuit, we focus on camaraderie, which is making sure that each one of us has that competence to teach
Mm-hmm.
um, whatever topic may be given to us, right? And
Definitely.
one thing that I would like to ask you, Sir Tristan, is what are your thoughts about developers with diverse project? Kasi for example, you have two or three projects going on, parang ganon.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So the question was, what do I think of developers with diverse projects? Correct, like
Yes.
multiple projects going on.
Yes, like kasi sobrang sikat na sa community ngayon yung mga freelancers na web developers wherein they take two, three clients, 'di ba? Yung meron silang madami silang network of clients that they serve. And how do you think, or what do you think is the skill na lang pala? Ito, what do you think is the skill that makes them or that makes it work for them?
Well, I feel like first of all, I commend people who work multiple projects at once. It is a very, very difficult thing to do,
Yeah.
trying to manage each project. But um, one of the things that I do feel like is key for managing multiple projects is adaptability.
Yes.
Yes, adaptability for each project, because you know, even if you're in the IT industry or you're working in a specific field, there's so much nuance and there's so much difference in handling tasks that, yeah, you're in IT, but that doesn't mean you know everything there is,
Yeah.
right? You could be
That's
handling something in a different language, and boom, you're in front end, or then you're in back end, right? So
yes.
adaptability is very, very key, and I feel like, Filipino developers have that on lock.
Yes, and that's really really true because hindi lang tayo hindi lang tayo yung iniisip nila na very friendly kind of people. Filipinos are very competent as well. And that's because we know how to adapt to different industry needs. And you're familiar with ChatGPT, right, Sir
Oh,
Tristan?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, right? And one thing na I commend Zuitt about is that the moment that they've released ChatGPT, or not really the moment, but the time that they've released ChatGPT, we did not think of it as a competition na, ay, magkakaroon ng ChatGPT. So, yung mga students, baka ma-discourage sila kasi meron ng computer or AI na sasagot sa mga tanong nila. We
Hmm.
actually adapted it. We used it on our um, teams, on our departments, and we actually use it in our learnings as well, right? Kasi
Hmm.
inisip natin na, tong chat GPT na to, it could help us so that students will learn more. We did not think of it just like a competition.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things about Filipinos, right? We always adapt to different industry needs. Nung kinailangan ng mga karpentero, nagkaroon ng karpenterong mga Pilipino, nung kinailangan ng mga nagkaroon ng instructors. So marunong tayo mag-adapt sa kung ano yung kailangan ng industry natin. And I think that's one of the things that makes the Filipinos sought after by different employers, not just local but also international.
Definitely, definitely. And I do feel like this plays into the part as earlier, but collaboration, right?
Yes,
Collaboration is a huge, huge part as well, where even if you're working with different teams and such, one of the things I saw definitely in Zuit here is that how much uh, people collaborate, and not just in IT industry, like how well each department, how different departments in Zuit collaborate with each other. So we're not just isolated, and the instructors here, and then the marketing here. No, we're all collaborating for
one
a
goal.
better workflow. Yeah, yeah, one goal, a better workflow, and such like that. So definitely, I do. Um, I can see that firsthand here.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing. But siguro enough with Zuitt kasi people doesn't really see the inside of our company. How
Definitely.
about if we share some of the real life success stories that we have of Filipino developers who are versatile? And siguro I'll start. Is that
Yep.
okay?
Oh, no
Okay.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually with one of the Zuitt bootcamp graduate. So I have this one graduate who is a career shifter. So when we say career shifter, it's someone who entered a certain industry with zero knowledge. So
Mm,
pumasok siya sa bootcamp natin with zero knowledge about web development. And throughout the bootcamp, sabihin natin, she or he took 3 months or 2 months in the bootcamp. And after that, she was now able to land a US based company job. And that's because she was willing to adapt to the change. Napansin niya na, wait, nagiging prominent na yung technology dito sa Pilipinas. Parang napakadami na ng tao na natututo or may knowledge or may gustong malaman about technology. So she um took that risk and that opportunity, and it was rewarded. She now
mm-hmm.
has I believe it's a work from home job with a
Yeah.
US based company, and knowing the conversion rates, right? We could say that it's a very well taken opportunity.
To add on to that, like I said before, I do have a lot of colleagues. Since I did graduate from computer science, and I do keep close touch with my colleagues, and there I can already see a lot of success stories.
Yeah.
A lot of people, my colleagues. I think one in particular I remember is that his family wasn't really well off or and such, but with the power of his perseverance and really grinding it out and learning everything that he can. The moment he got out of school, got out of college, he lands a really good job, and then is just continuing to thrive. And I'm saying this is just one example, but I know a lot of examples with my colleagues that just continue to thrive in the IT industry because you know with the IT industry you are continuously learning. You
Yeah.
are continuously trying to be updated in a lot of things, and with that, it keeps your mind sharp and your wits about you, right?
Yes, and that's really, really true, Sir Tristan. So, sa sobrang dami ng mga success stories na I don't think we could fit all of that in just one podcast.
Rame.
So, yeah, sobrang dami. But from those success stories that you were able to hear, Sir Tristan, I would just like to ask, what do you think are what is one thing in common about all of them? Sa tingin mo na makes all of them a success?
Hmm, it's a really good question.
It's a thinker.
Yeah, it is a thinker. Now, what makes all of them in common with their success? I feel like it's their. I think it's two things. Like we said before, it's perseverance and adaptability.
Yeah.
There.
And that is both in line with versatility, right?
Yes, correct. Like,
So, well, now that we know that one of the things that, or two of the things that we need as a Filipino developer is perseverance and adaptability, what are, do you think, the other tips that we can give to future or
mm,
aspiring web developers on how do they enhance this adaptability and perseverance skill that they need to have?
I feel like the one thing that is very important of if you want to be a very competent web developer is to don't stop learning.
Yes.
Keep learning. Keep trying to figure out all of the stuff that is within your field, or with to the best of your abilities. But this is such a fast industry. that
Yes.
if you're not updated to the industry standards or on what is needed, then you'll fall behind. So definitely continue to learn,
Yeah.
aspire to learn. That's also a thing, and go into this field knowing that you'll be learning almost something new almost every day, or if not every day.
Yeah. And those are really good tips, but I would just like to add to that, Sir
Mm-hmm,
Tristan,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, not just with learning, but know what resources to learn. This is one of the things that we always focus on when we're discussing in Zuit, and that is learn how to read documentations. Like, sobrang dami natin programming languages. I think nasa 20 plus yung programming languages na meron tayo. And as a natural person, not a genius one, you don't know how to memorize all of that, right?
Right.
Isa pa nga lang parang dumudugo na yung utak ko. Isipin pa natin yung 20, di ba? So, what we always teach our student is learn how to read documentations. There is there is always a documentation for each programming language. Hindi siya something na bago, hindi siya something na ito lang yung meron. Lahat merong documentation, right, Sir Tristan?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So learn how to search for it and learn from your communities as well. Sobrang daming Facebook groups, ano pa ba? I
YouTube
think
videos,
YouTube,
tutorials.
yes, that's correct. YouTube videos, tutorials na pwede niyong gamitin so that you could learn all of these programming languages. So kapag alam mo na yung mga programming languages na yun, syempre makaka-adapt ka na pag tinanong ka ni employer na marunong ka ba nito? Ay, sir, marunong po ako niyan. Kahit na ang alam mo lang yung basic, 'di ba? Kasi pwede mo namang aralin during the job eh.
I also feel like if you get competent enough, if you know nakaya mo na yung, if you reach that level, a lot of the times yung pwede mo na lang gawin is that if you learn the base, diba? Like you said nga,
Yeah.
if you learn the base, a lot of um, coding or a lot of languages share a lot of the same concepts.
Yes, that's
So the
correct.
only thing you have to do is like change the syntax, and now alam mo na how to code again, right? So, oh, one thing then, if you learn a skill, be sure to practice that skill, else it'll get rusty and it'll go away. That's
That's correct.
that's a tip that I keep learning. If I do not code, if I don't do this, like a week later, a month later, I don't know how to output hello world again.
Yeah, ang very, very sikat na Hello World
Mhm,
sa world ng technology. So, I think, I think the base or the key points that we can say that we have in this podcast is that learn how to persevere. So
mhm,
kapag kasi if you persevered enough to learn the basic of each of the programming language, learn the basics of how to communicate with your with your employers, with your co-workers, you
mhm.
will have or you would automatically have that adaptability. Kasi
Yes.
nakikita nila na ay gustong matuto ng taong to, ay gustong magtrabaho ng tao na to sa kumpanya ko. So, by doing that, they would give you the opportunity to adapt with them. Ah, bibigyan ko to ng mga seminars, ng mga trainings, para
Mhm.
matuto siya because I can see their perseverance. And from there, syempre, kapag natutunan mo na, you're gonna adapt it and use it in the environment, right?
Definitely, yes. And then, in the future, it's your turn to pass on the mantle, right? Like
Yes.
you'll be the one that teaches, and you focus on that, the perseverance, adaptability, versatility, all of that wrapped into one. You really need to preach that, right?
Yes, that's correct. And that's why we encourage also everyone to get this three skills. Actually, just get the two skills and you will
Mm-hmm.
get the third one as natural. Just learn how to persevere, learn how to adapt, and versatility will naturally come to you. And we'd also like you to explore different opportunities available to you, which one of it is our bootcamp, right?
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Do you want to share any informations about that?
Well, Zuitt Coding Bootcamp is will teach you from front end, all back end, and to full stack. It's a 3 month course. 3 4 month course, give or take. We have full time and part time or daytime or nighttime schedules for those who are
Working.
yeah, who are working, working people.
Yeah.
And I do recommend, if you have the time, if you have the resources, do join the Zuitt Coding Bootcamp. Eh, I was a boot camper once, and it definitely did change my outlook and my my view on the industry as a whole. Being exposed to a lot of um, new new tools and new approaches, and I definitely do recommend.
Yeah, so yeah, please do check our packages or our Zuit Coding Bootcamp. We also have our Facebook page. You could go ahead and follow us on our Facebook page, which would be linked in this video as well. And we have an upcoming classes. I think that's August classes. So if you would be interested to join the bootcamp and learn all about perseverance and adaptability with it, we encourage you to reach out to our website, right? So website natin, pwede silang mag-sign
Yep,
in doon.
definitely.
Yeah. So I think that is all for our podcast for today.
Hmm.
So thank you everyone for
Thank you.
listening. And any last words, Sir Tristan?
Um, Thank you very much for listening, and I do hope if you're an aspiring web developer or a person who wants to go to the IT field, there's so much resources out there that you can access to. You have the internet. Try to really squeeze any information out and practice your skills. Practice your skills, and you'll be a very, very competent web developer soon.
Yeah, so thank you everyone again for joining,
Thank
and
you.
we hope you follow us to the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.